Hey, Moose Country, welcome to another episode of Let Us Be Heard.
What's up, everybody? Colin back here for another episode of Let Us Be Heard, joined always by my friend, co-host, and royal pain in my ass sometimes, Dylan Gorman. Dylan, what's up, brother?
What's going on, dude?
Not too bad. Seems like we were just talking yesterday.
Yeah, sorry if I seem a little off today. I just sat through a tattoo on the ribs, and it's pretty tender right now. So
You want to show us?
I move and wins.
You want to show us?
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
It's all wrapped up still.
Whatever. Back to the grindstone. We got another guest for us today.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah.
This is a very, very, very entertaining personality in his short time with the organization.
Definitely one of the funniest guys that we'll probably ever have on. He's got the best sense of humor, I think, out of any Moosehead ever been on.
Yeah, and he likes to. He had his own show as well with the Mooseheads.
Yeah. That's fine dining, right?
No, people would sit down and have dinner with him and snacks and try different things. So,
all right,
be a fun one.
Yeah, buddy.
Artery clogging. All right, so first we're trying poutine. So I don't really know what this is made of, and it's kind of scaring me a little bit, but we'll try it. Right, Attilio? Yeah. I don't like this. Here you go, Alex. Here you go, Alex. Woo! And unnecessary. Like, what's next? Mayo chips? We can do mayo chips? Ketchup, mustard chips? Like, come on. Camera following me today. So you know you're a big deal. Nah, that's good. I like that. I like the analysis there. Yeah. So I give it like a 6, but I don't support the existence. Oh. McDavid-like crossovers. Attilio Biasca here, the Swedish torpedo, as he's called back home.
Swiss.
You mean you're not Swedish?
No, I'm definitely not Swedish.
Weird. Anyway, back with the Swedish torpedo here. Real bad hips. Jonesy?
Jonesy is fueled by Viking Pizza. Bridgewater, Mass.
Story of how you hurt your wrist.
Like, I had the puck and then I gave a pass to Doomer and
That's the story we got on Twitter. Tell us a real story. Because what I had heard is you clogged the toilet and then went to unclog it with your hand and hurt your wrists. Is that?
Good shot. Yeah. To Davis. Oh, well, backhand. Woo!
You can do. You are a disaster with this. Are you from Switzerland? We don't even know fondue.
Yeah, the bread is pretty
Like, are
bad.
you getting this? He's making like bread soup, bread and cheese soup.
Steven Davis, what's up, bud?
Not much. Great to be here. I watched your show with Attilio. I was a big fan, so excited to be on now after
Awesome.
my Swedish friend. So
The Swedish torpedo.
Swedish torpedo.
that's right. Yeah, he hates that.
I know.
He hates that. He used to get so mad at me.
I'm going to send him a link to this video afterwards.
Yeah, you
Well,
should.
yeah.
That'd be good for him.
It started a whole thing because even some of the fans were calling him that.
Yeah, which was all part of the plan. It was all part of the plan, and I succeeded. So I'm glad.
So we're just going to jump right into it. Was there any Canadian foods you did like?
Yes, actually, we did the, and I'll preface it by saying, they did the Canadian Food Challenge, and like, I'm not like, I don't like to rag on the Mooseheads production team because they're great. Like, they do a great job, equipment's fantastic, but they really half-ass the food as far as like, putting it together, giving us, whatever it was. Like, the snacks was a good idea, but they try to mix in hot foods. Like, come on, we're in a rink. We don't have the resources. We're not in a great kitchen. So that was tough. They definitely set us up to fail in that regard. And like, I was going to let loose on a few things, but I do like a donair. Like, donair, I like quite a bit. Especially, like, there's some pretty bad ones out there, but like, I do like a good donair. That's something I'm a fan of.
Yeah, you guys have gyros where you're from, right?
Yeah, but like,
Just
they're not a big
similar.
thing.
No?
Nova Scotia people, no, I'm not really. I think like everyone's talking about donairs in Nova Scotia, but No one's really talking about gyros here, or whatever they're called. Gyros, maybe. I think gyros is the other word. I don't know. Yeah.
Made with tzatziki sauce.
Yeah. No, those are good, but like a donair it's fun. Like a donair is a fun food.
I like that.
So when you were here talking about donairs, did you have like a go-to place that you would go to for your donair?
A bit times, and back then Sylvain Favreau was the coach, and he was buddies with the King of Donair owner or something like that. So
KOD.
I'll call him out a little bit on it. We would do like, some games 3-on-3 at the end of practice, and he would say that the winning team is going to get a gift certificate to King of Donair, and he never followed through, which was pretty disappointing.
Well,
but,
I get that.
I was looking to tear
promise.
into one, but yeah. So no, I mean, I used to live in Sackville. I billeted in Sackville, Lower Sackville, so I forget the spot there, but there was a pizza place that I would slide into every now and again and grab a donair. I forget what it was called, but I was a fan for sure.
You had incredible billets too.
Yeah, I had two different sets in my 2 years. So I lived in Dartmouth my first year, and then Lower Sackville my second year. So a little best of both worlds. Dartmouth was nice just being that close, but I did like Sackville, like nice place.
Yeah.
And good billets too.
Yeah, very good billets. That's how we found you, thank God. So you were kind of the face of the Mooseheads back then. Like you. It seems like any video that came out for press with the Mooseheads, you were the face of it. I'm assuming it's because of your personality. But can you let us know how that came to be? How you got Dining with Davis and all those other things? Fondue for two?
Yeah. So it really started like my first year. It was, I came halfway through this season. So it was a little bit of an awkward transition as far as getting to meet the guys. And like, obviously I'm a new guy coming from the outside. It'd be aggressive to come in extremely hot and be as I was as the time went by. So at first I was definitely a little more shy and getting my feet wet with the Mooseheads organization. But I think that what really broke it through is like gradually I was getting more comfortable. And then we did do the Canadian food video. And, Attilio and I were friends, and we were kind of close because we both came at the same time. So that was sort of something that we connected on. And, at that point, it was just kind of a breakthrough moment where I just decided to let loose. And maybe it was some frustration of being in Canada because you guys are weird and you guys do weird things. And so I think my personality shone through there. And I really wanted to rag on food. And then it was a hit and everyone liked it. And then gradually I just did more videos and I liked it. Like it'd be one thing if they were forcing me to do this stuff, but I really wanted to. Like I liked getting on the camera. I was comfortable. Gareth would also use me for a lot of interviews because I wasn't shy about doing them. I like doing interviews. So it sort of happened that way. And I just gradually became the loudest guy in the locker room. So then that obviously equated to me being sort of the face of the Moose. I used to tell everybody I was the face of the franchise, but I had 2 points my first year, but still, I was first Moosehead in history to have 2 points and become the face of the franchise. So that was pretty exciting.
That's 2 more than people that's never put a jersey on.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But normally people think McKinnon, Denoye, Dume now, and then Davis. So I'm in elite company.
That's right, man.
Exactly.
You truly are.
Yeah.
Yeah. We said to Tyler, we'll say it to you as well. You're kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely was.
Yeah. So you mentioned you came at the same time as Tilio. That was during the pandemic. What I want to know is what was the process like of actually this leads into we had Gravel on as well, and he had the same type of question. What was the process like being an American and leaving that system and coming up to the Q and your process and your challenges that you faced?
Well, there was definitely no shortage of challenges at that time as far as COVID and the pandemic. The border was tight. So I remember driving up, just driving up was a big thing, like in 13 hours from Boston to Halifax. And when I got over the border, it took me a while to get over. It was challenging just to get my visa and get all that sorted out with testing and quarantine, things like that. But when I got over the border and I was driving through New Brunswick, I was like, holy shit, it is like a barren wasteland here. It was just no moose crossing signs. It was crazy. I was starting to hallucinate. I don't even know what was going on at that point. But just from that point, getting into Canada was stressful. And then the quarantine period. And obviously I came to Halifax with a team with such a storied fan base, huge rank, so much community involvement that we did miss a lot of that in my first really half a year going into the second year, where that was tough. Like that was a challenge because it's such an appetizing part. And it was frustrating for us to not be able to get that interaction with the fans and get the whole experience that, we all signed up for. So that was challenging. And it was also interesting to live in Canada. And, like I said, it is different than America. Like, I don't think it gets enough press. Like Canada is different than America significantly.
100%.
Like people are weirder. They're like, quiet and less opinioned, less in your face, less aggressive. So that was also an adjustment. But over time,
the correct term is polite. Very polite.
Well,
there we go.
well, I don't even know if I agree with that stereotype. Like, yeah, Canadian people, I think maybe more Ontario people are polite. Nova Scotians can just be a little awkward. Like, I think.
What?
I see it.
I think Nova Scotians border on awkward sometimes. And not to be mean to the fan base, but just like,
oh, no, we're definitely awkward, but I think we're nicer than Ontario. So keeping on that topic, would you go back and change switching from NCAA to junior, or do you think that's the correct route?
No, and if I could have changed anything, I would have gone earlier.
Really?
If anything.
Good.
Yeah. So I was like recruited. I was drafted when I was 16. Went to camp when I was 16, and the team liked me a lot, and they kind of recruited me for my 17 year, and I had to make the decision of either going and pursuing it with the Mooseheads or sticking around in the United States, going through that system and trying to play in college. Unfortunately, COVID screwed all that up, so then I sort of had a fallback plan of going to the Mooseheads, and it was fantastic. Like, I really loved the experience. I think it's so good. Not for everybody. Like, not everybody should play in major junior if they're a little bit of a late bloomer. There are so many advantages to being in NCAA where you can enter later and you can be 24 when you graduate. There's an advantage to that for some people. But for me, like, I think that it was a great fit. And like, you're playing 70 games, like 68 games a season. It's like you're in the NHL where your body's you're getting conditioned, your mind, like mentally, you're just dialed in and consistent. Like, I do love that aspect of it. The bus rides, it's a hockey atmosphere, which was really fun. So definitely, like, I don't regret it at all. And if anything, I would have wanted to come sooner.
I agree. I think it's a good point.
We got a kid on the team now, Kilfoyle, who initially committed going the NCAA route, but after being drafted by the Mooseheads, like, he's from New Brunswick, but after being drafted by the Mooseheads, he made the decision to come up and switch and go the junior route for pretty much the same reasons of, like, it's closer to home for him, but it's also, there's more of like the hockey focus and stuff.
Yeah, not to say, like, the NCAA's got some challenges right now, though, with, they opened the transfer portal where it used to be you had to sit out for a semester or a year. When you transferred, you couldn't play. Now that's gone. So it is like a free agency thing. And I think that they're running into some problems as far as like teams being loyal to their players, to their recruits. And so many people are jumping ship, going to other teams. You have, everyone got an extra year through COVID. So it's just, there's a real influx of players, and it's challenging to find a place that's like match some people's skill level. Like, I know plenty of players that deserve to be at top teams in the NCAA, but there's so many players and so many things moving around that they can't. So there's a little more consistency in the queue. It's more pro style, like, and people care, like, especially the Mooses, they care about developing players over time. So that's important too, because that's what it's all about, really.
110%. Now, tell us how and why the Mooseheads.
Well, I was drafted in the Mooseheads, and to be honest, I don't think I would have played in the queue if it wasn't the Mooseheads. I don't think that would have happened. I was 16, got drafted. I went to camp. I also, like, when you're an American as growing up, like, there's a lot of, you go to camps, USA hockey camps, things like that, and I don't want to say propaganda. I mean, it is propaganda against the CHL. Like, they definitely cherry pick information and present it to younger players to kind of give you the idea that if you go to major junior, they don't care about your school. One, like, you're not going to get your education. You're putting all your eggs in one basket, which is false.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
You were huge on academics here, even helping other players and teammates out with their academics. You thrived in the classroom.
Yeah, and the opportunities after, like that. So a lot of times when you're growing up, they cherry pick the data and kind of give you the sense that if you play in major junior, you're going to have challenges getting your education and furthering yourself in life, which is just false. And so I definitely had a preconceived notion that major junior is a big step. But when I got drafted by the Mooseheads, I went to camp just to see it for 48 hours. And I really loved the way everything was run. I was lucky. It was during the Memorial Cup year. So I saw that training camp and that team, which was probably a little different than every other year in the years I played. And then, Cam really liked me. And so I visited Halifax that following year when they were considering to get me to play. I loved Halifax, like the city, great culture, like loved the bar scene. That's fantastic. Great restaurants. Like small enough too. Like I don't like an overwhelming city. Like small enough where you can kind of just get around easily. And the culture's great. Like they love sports, drinking beers. Like it's just a great culture in Halifax. So that was very appetizing. And then, it's the Mooseheads, like huge rink. And like I said, I saw it during the Memorial Cup year. So the place was packed.
Yeah.
The city was into it. It was just insane.
But that's not just because of Memorial Cup year. Like we just had a it's beginning of the season right now. We just had a Wednesday game where there had to have been 7,500, 8,000 people in attendance on a Wednesday night. You know what I mean? Like our fans, our fan base, we love you, Mooseheads. We absolutely adore you. We're here for you. We stand 10 toes down for you, and so we got to show you support, right? It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely hear that. I also know the flip side of it, where some Moose fans can be pretty critical on social media. The boys, holy cow!
Yep.
I got traded, moved forward a few times on social media. Cut. I've been cut a few times by fans. So
What?
They definitely are critics.
What?
A couple fans cut me before when I was playing and traded me. I got moved forward.
No, like cut him off the team.
No, like they wanted me off the team. They were GM. I was off.
I thought you were being funny, like they cut you to your soul type thing.
No, I mean, yeah, they did, but no, they wanted me off. They wanted me out of town. At one point, one fan suggested me and Zach Jones switching positions, which was a very entertaining idea, which we all got to laugh at. But yeah, the fans are great, but they can be harsh critics, which is fun too. It's part of the deal.
He's talking about you, Mr. O'Rourke. Just to let you know.
So I gotta say on that aspect of that, before Attilio got named captain, obviously the fans and everybody, we chime in, we talk to each other, we try to figure out who they would name captain, who we would want, and many people said you because of your personality and your gameplay, and it was a real shock when you ended up departing from the Mooseheads when you didn't make the team. So just not everybody was critical of you. Some people had you as being the captain and stuff.
Of course. And that was a tight situation that they were put in with so many young players, and you have to plan for the future. So there's a lot that goes into that, and that's totally understandable. But and I knew all of that. So there's no ill will, of course. Yeah. And I do love the fans. So absolutely.
Well, and that kind of leads in like with the no ill will and stuff, and you had the understanding. You got to call some of the games with Gareth McDonald on the radio, and you got to be around the guys again and travel with them. What was that transition like, and how was it being back around the guys?
Well, it was hilarious. Like it was hilarious. It was unprecedented. Like I don't think it's been done before, where a player gets cut from the team and then 6 months later, he's on the plane going back from Quebec City to call games. So that aspect of it was hilarious. Like I remember like some of the guys texting me and just being like, "How are you on the plane? Like, how did you pull this off?" And I was just like, "I don't know what to tell you. Like it's how it's done."
I'm kind of a big deal.
It was fun though to be around them, and I was also hanging with the staff too, which I was close with all the staff members, like all the assistant coaches, trainers, equipment managers. So that was fun too, just being able to hang around them, not as staff and player, but like more so peers, where it was a lot of fun. Like great to just be around the organization again. And I also love calling games, so that part was really fun too.
And if you watch your mic'd up video, you can see that even the smallest people in the organization meant something to you. I can't remember who it was, if it was an usher, but you walked out of the dressing room, you said hi to him, how's it going? To me that's good character. No matter which way you spin it, and I think that's why you were so loved here in Halifax.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was, like, as far as preparation goes, I was not the most dialed player before a game. I was very loose, where, you've got our NHL draft picks that are getting dialed in to play a rock solid game. And it just wasn't my style. So I would have an energy drink and go hang out with the equipment managers and shoot the shit, which was just fantastic. It's how I got ready for the game. It got me loose and ready to go. So definitely a different kind of thing. But there was some of that. Like most of my time at the rink, I just kind of walked around and talked to people. I didn't do a whole lot of preparing.
And us as fans could definitely see that. And that's what a lot of us enjoyed on it. Before the season, something started at the first game, and myself and other fans were wondering who was the first person that was going to start this, and it was bringing this out onto the ice. And you were truly you were the person that we were like, if there's anybody to do it that'll get a fun and get a laugh out of it, it's going to be Davis. Unfortunately,
it was Biasco.
I didn't last long enough to see it. No, I didn't.
It was
anything
Biasco.
like that. Yeah. But I mean, I took his character. That was. I'm gonna take credit for him. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take credit for him.
You broke him out of his shell, eh?
Take some of it. You did break him out of his shell.
Yeah.
To some degree, yeah. I mean, also the language barrier was a lot of fun for me. So, he kind of sometimes struggled to understand some of the things I was saying, and I would really ramble to him just to, I don't know. It was a lot of fun, and Attilio's a great guy, so I think he did a great job as captain. It was not necessarily the most expected choice, maybe. I don't know, how everyone thought at the time.
It really wasn't
a great choice. For me. Yeah.
I'll tell you,
I thought he did a great job.
I think he'll always be my favorite captain. I got to know the kid on and off the ice, and he's been great to me and my family. He wished my daughter a happy birthday over video because she's his favorite player. So I think he'll always be my favorite captain. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable person. His family's incredible too. Just a really nice, good character, good kid.
His mom's a doll. So do you still keep in contact with any former teammates?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we still have a group chat of the older guys in my last year, which is all the vets really. We still have a group chat that kind of pops off pretty frequently. Jones, he's from around where I live, so we see each other from time to time. And LaFrance, we still keep in touch. So definitely, I mean, it's not too far away, and we still talk. And it was nice last year when I was able to go to some games to reconnect with some guys. So yeah, it's a cool thing that we all kind of keep in touch, and kind of goes back to the whole idea of when you're a kid in America, they always talk about the NCAA, you get so close with your teammates, these are your best friends for life. And you don't get that in Canada, where it's just really not true. We spent so much time together, bus rides, hotels, road trips, so we all got really close, and we still talk frequently now. So it's really great.
Yeah, and we still have a couple members on our team this year that were on your team then as well. So Vidicek, I think Dumais was on your team as well for a year.
Oh yeah,
there's still a few left.
They're still kicking around. The greatest generation. That was us, the greatest generation, as they call the old World War II generation. As far as Mooseheads, we laid the groundwork for all this stuff.
So how crazy is it that a player like Dumais at his size is about to break the all-time points record for the Mooseheads? That's absolutely insane.
It's nuts. And I was there when he was a rookie, and he was obviously very good. He had a lot of points, smart player, and very crafty, but just every year you see him making immense strides forward as a player. His first year, he was great. Second year, leading scorer, and then third year is the best player in Canada. It has to be. Yeah. You can't, he's just continually getting better. And he is undersized, but he's strong, and he's a good skater, and he wins his battles. He has the intangibles that are just really important for a guy that's maybe a little bit undersized, but it doesn't matter. He's quick and smart, and he uses it to his advantage, if anything.
Connor Bedard, who?
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree. I think that guy's a bust, and I think Dumais better. So
you heard it here. You heard it here.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So you talked about being on the road and being on the bus and in the hotels with the boys. Is there any funny team stories that you're able to share without yourself getting into too much trouble or any other player?
Yeah, don't incriminate anybody.
Feel free to hold back names or change names.
I don't care about incriminating myself. I don't play anymore, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm not trying to play in the NHL. So there's definitely, we had some really, really fun times. And like we had that year, like my last year, it was we had the break at Christmas with COVID. So it was a long season. Like we were there for a while, and there were periods where we couldn't play and we were just like kind of hunkered down. It was tough, but we bonded pretty well together. And I mean, on the road, like it was hilarious. Like we had a funny culture. I mean, like somehow my idiocy kind of rubbed off a little bit on other guys. So I can't really think of one. I mean, specifically, like I remember we were at a team meal and I threw a bread roll. Like it was a pregame meal, and I threw a bread roll at Zach Jones, like hard. And he got so mad, he started throwing one back at me, and we kind of got into a food fight at a pregame meal for like an important game. You know, guys were all getting ready to go, and me and Jones are throwing bread rolls at each other. So, yeah, that was just one. But I mean, there's so many. You know, there's a good amount I can't share. But yeah, like we had a lot of fun times.
You're just on the ice after the meal, picking potato out of your ear, and
yeah. We had one time, like we had like Beauregard at a meal one time, and like, you know, we'd always get the soup. You Canadians love soup. I don't know why. Like soup at every meal.
I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I'm more of a stew guy. It gets cold up here, man. We got to have something hearty to.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you. But you know, we always have soup. And Beauregard one time, like you know, he's got a roll. He didn't have soup, and he's just like asking. He like turns to someone. He's like, "Hey, can I stick my bread in your soup? Can I dip my bread in your soup?" And we're all like, "What?" Like, no, it's not communal. Like it's his soup. Like, it's not holy water. Like you don't just dip your hand in.
What are you up to
I
now?
can totally see Beauregard doing that too.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious.
What are you up to now?
I am in school at Boston College just as a student. I'm studying as like a communications journalism major. I still announce some games here and there whenever I get the chance. Just some local junior stuff here whenever I have time for it. And you know, ideally, I'd like to do some stuff maybe again whenever I get an opportunity with Gareth. Because Gareth and I have quite a good rapport in the broadcast booth. We have a fun time. So I'd like to do some more of that. But yeah, I'm just studying, you know, more so focused on academics and, you know, trying to get the degree. And yeah, that's just about it.
So
yeah.
is that end game for you, like a sports announcer, you know, best case scenario, TSN or whatnot?
ESPN.
I mean, it's definitely an avenue that I think is worth pursuing. But at the same time, I have a lot of interest outside of just sports too, in the world of, you know, entertainment or journalism or things like that. You know, like I'm fairly well educated and well kept up on current events and things like that. So I could definitely see myself in a, you know, speaking role, but I don't think it would just be hockey necessarily. Yeah. I would entertain other ideas and other fields and things like that. But definitely, like, you know, I would like to do some work like speaking and being on TV or being on the radio, you know, so something like that would definitely be interesting.
Well, we can't pay you, but if you want a job, we can have you on report.
Hey, I mean, we can talk about it. It's definitely interesting. I mean,
we can send you down some Canadian snacks.
Yeah.
We're gonna send me some ketchup chips and I'll throw them right in the garbage.
We're actually sending Biasca a care package, and I'm putting ketchup chips in there. 100% ketchup chips are going.
Oh, you have to.
And
you got to put them in.
And maple cookies for you because you totally agree with their existence.
I mean, I actually, to be honest, like I was playing that up a little bit. They're not that bad. They're not bad. They're actually pretty tasty. But I will say that it's like, why do you need this? Like, everything doesn't have to be maple related.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
It doesn't all need to be maple related.
Yeah, maple and pumpkin are the only two tastes we have up here, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some good Canadian maple syrup though, and it is something else. So I'll give that. But like, it doesn't need to be cookies. Like, we don't need to put it on baked potatoes or whatever weird shit you guys do with maple syrup. Like,
bacon,
bacon, that's unnecessary. Like maple bacon, so unnecessary.
Yeah.
You want to throw the last one out there, Dylan? The one we ask every Moose player.
So, you had a short time with the Mooseheads between COVID and everything that went down. Is there anything that you would like to say to the fans, to the organization, to your former teammates, to your billets, to Steve, who you met down the store someday? Like, is there anybody that you would, or anything you would just want to say to the organization and the city as a whole?
Also the current players.
Yeah, so like obviously since I've been there, and it's only been 2 years now, there have been some serious changes in coaching staff, ownership, which is a big one. But when I was there, I think that what is really attractive to me and my family about the Mooseheads is like there's a culture that is established between the players, the fans. It's like close knit and everyone's kind of working together, and there's a system of values that are in place. Like people care about treating each other the right way, care about being, respectful, respecting the game on and off the ice. I think Bobby Smith was a really, really big part of that, as far as being a former player and instilling the values in the Mooseheads that I think it's absolutely essential, especially when like sports are in a really weird time where they're getting commercial and there's so much going on. It's very easy for people to lose sight of what's important. And I just think like with a lot of changes going forward, I like hope that the Mooseheads don't ever lose sight of that. Keep the fans close, keep everybody like on the same page, like striving towards the common goal and like respecting the game, respecting each other, and like, being good characters is such an important thing. And like as there's a transition between Bobby Smith and the Simons, I know that they're close and they have the same values and the same mindset, but that's just something that I think was like so important to me as a person going through the Mooseheads that I would love just to see continue for years to come.
Right on, man. I got to tell you, I know you haven't gotten the opportunity to meet the Simons. Stellar gentlemen. They sit with the fans. They seem like they're really interested in being not just owners, but a part of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Wicked guys.
Yeah, I met them just briefly, but
did you?
was not able to really have a full conversation. But I think they're doing some great work as far as helping get the fans, more involved. And it's also tough to rebuild everything after COVID. Like there was definitely a lull in fans being comfortable coming to the rink and community involvement and things like that. And it's great to see them ramping that back up. And it's fun to watch from an outside perspective now.
100%.
Well, and that's one of the things that we wanted to do with this show or this channel is be able to help bring currently former players back to the fans' perspective and in their eyes. So it's once a Moose, always a Moose. And Colin and I very much agree with that. And so many other fans do. So to get players like yourself and Gravel that we had and Biasca and stuff like that is truly a blessing. And I want to thank you, and I know Colin does, for taking the time and agreeing to doing this.
Oh, 100%, man. Like I said, you don't know me. You picked up a phone call from a mutual friend, and you said, "Yeah, I'd love to."
Yeah.
And, to put time aside for a very small channel that's not going to gain you anything just shows a lot to your character. And like I said, we appreciate you, man. All of Moose Country appreciates you.
Well, I appreciate what you guys are doing. I've seen a couple episodes, and it's great. It's like so important to see that how the guys move on, and even the players that aren't NHL, even the washed up guys like me, they gotta get some airtime too. So definitely appreciate what you guys are doing, and I appreciate you having me on.
And listen, if you ever do get back down here for a game, we are trying to get another segment going called Back in the Barn. We're actually in the Scotiabank Center. If you're there watching a game, put you aside for 5 minutes. If you want to chat about how it feels being there, love to have you do that as well.
Perfect. Love it. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephen Davis, again, for your time. I hope you're all healthy, safe, and happy out there. And as always, go Moose, go.
Go Moose, go.
Go Moose, go. Thanks, guys.